Hello and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle. Me, your host, Joshua Smith. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday. We made it to another weekend. Woo! It's time. This is my last live show, guys, for at least the next 6 days that I'm supposed to have shows. So I have been busy recording shows for you guys. I'm going to have some really great guests while I'm gone. And it's in the evening, so I will have the opportunity to hang out in the chat with you guys after, full days of hanging out at Disney World with all the kids. It's going to be insane, but I plan to still be in the chat to hang out with you guys to watch some episodes. Recorded a really great episode today with Clint from Liberty Lockdown. I got another really cool episode with Kentucky Rebel Scum. Love that man. I'll be doing a recorded episode with Citizen Hush, Sky Daddy, and Drew Hancock. And on Tuesday, the show may have a guest host. Maybe. We'll see. If not, I apologize, but I am hoping that happens because it'll be really cool. Guys, let's check out some sponsors. Of course, we have toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great Getting High on the Ideas of Liberty Ron Paul hoodie that I'm wearing today for a 10% discount by using BTC at checkout. Or you guys can join the Patreon or the Subscribe Star. Seriously, join the Patreon or Subscribe Star. Help me fund the show. Let me make it a little bit bigger than it is. But check it out. You can / Break the Cycle JS on both of those platforms, or you can join the YouTube channel here under all of my videos by hitting join and paying $5-6 a month or something like that, and you get all the members only episodes. Plus, all three of those platforms will get you into a private Discord server where you can get all of Top Lops's new gear up to 2 weeks early at a 30% discount. Really, honestly, pays for itself, man. If you're one of the lower tier subscribers, but don't limit yourself to the lower tiers. Go higher tier. It's fine. It's okay. And, of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you own a business, if you're business-minded, if you're thinking about starting a business, check out Anthem Planning. They have something for you. They're going to make your life much easier, and it's probably going to save you a ton of money in the long run. So check them out, see what they can do for you. It's free to check out the website. Seriously, go do it when the show's over. Don't do it now. We got stuff to do. We got a great show for you guys. Several months ago was sometimes when new people follow me, I go and check out their Twitters. It's what I do. And I found this woman. She was following me, and I went and looked. She had a YouTube link, so I went and checked out her YouTube and started watching her show, because I do that for some of you guys. If you have shows, I probably have watched your show or do watch your show when I get a chance. But I went and checked it out, and it's called Can Relate, and it was a really, really good show. It was produced very well. The content was amazing. She spoke well. So this is the host of Can Relate podcast, professional belly dancer, retired, I believe, professional belly dancer, and 1 decade business owner. She is Yael Becker. How are you doing tonight, ma'am?
Good. How are you? I love that. Retired.
Yeah, retired. Professional belly dancer, retired. Right? That's
perfect.
That's good.
I might steal that.
Yeah, you should. Well, look, I'm a fan of your show. My fiance watches your show. I think when I found you, you had like 12 followers on Twitter or something like that. It was like you're just starting out. You're on your way to 1,000 now. You got a lot of people watching your show. It's really been a great growth to watch. And like I said, I think the content's great. It's produced very well. It's not another shitty libertarian podcast. It looks good and it sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But so you seem pretty free markety and libertarian oriented. I know you made your way to Liberty Twitter, which you said found you.
It did find me.
Yeah, but you're. Oh, go ahead.
It was kind of meant to be, because I deleted my Twitter. I had a Twitter when I owned a business, because you kind of have to, but I never really got into Twitter. And then I was like, okay, I have a podcast. I said, I gotta let me get back on this cancer website. And and it took a whole other turn. So it's kind of cool. Nice.
Well, let's talk about this. So you're from New York, okay, and you've recently left New York due to this ridiculous tyranny. I mean, I'm sure that was the biggest reason for why you were leaving, if you weren't leaving already. But you somehow became a libertarian. You somehow became a free market person and somebody who wanted to push back against tyranny. So what's your story? How did you come to these philosophies?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I was never into politics. I think politics got my attention around 2015 when Trump announced his candidacy, and I never cared for politics. I was always working 3 jobs, super busy, freelance, entrepreneur, just, I don't care. And then when I saw like the media's reaction to Trump, I just felt like the whole thing was super weird. So that got my attention because I was hearing something that he would say, and then the reaction was so much more extreme than I thought it should have been. I come from an Israeli background. Everybody's super loud. Everybody's super fucking rude. So I was like, his statements did not shock me. And so when everybody freaked out over it, I kind of thought it was hilarious. So that's kind of how I got into politics. And let's fast forward that like a lot. Now we're here with the last 2 years. I mean, I feel like everything just went absolutely crazy. And I was never like really outspoken about these topics. Like, I'm a babble mouth and I always run my mouth and I never really filtered myself. But I also realized like I never had to filter myself about controversial topics because I never like got into that. For me, controversial was like, choosing like a controversial piece of fashion. Like it's not like being brave about something, right? And what happened was I just felt like I have all these things to say, but I was so scared to say them. And after like just basically trying to figure out for so long, like how can I get away with like kind of saying it, but not really saying it, I realized I just had no choice and I had to start talking about like what the hell is going on. So I don't know what I consider myself, to be honest with you. I'm kind of like a don't label me kind of thing.
Sure.
So I think that's a very long story short way of putting it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's okay to not have labels. I think a lot of people they want to label themselves. Obviously I say I'm a libertarian because I sit on the Libertarian National Committee. I'm a libertarian by philosophy. But I'd still be happy with people not calling me anything and just me talking about principles or philosophy or policy, right. Because really at the end of the day, one of the ways that they've been effective at separating us was labeling us. Okay, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, and now you have to vote for all of the Democrat policies. And it's like, well, what if I don't like 3 or 4 of these policies? Why should I fucking vote for them? Well, because you're part of the party and you've labeled yourself a Democrat and you need to be a Democrat. And it's like, that's really a way that they've used us as chess pieces in their wars, and it's a way they've kept us separated. And if the race doesn't do it, if the gender doesn't do it, if the sexual orientation doesn't do it, we can do it. We can get it done by separating them into Republicans and Democrats. We can get it done. Thanks for the super chat, Quest, man. I appreciate your $5 super chat. He said, "Hey kids, stopping by for about 20 minutes. Gonna enjoy this gladly. Shared on Twitter to my tiny 11,000 followers. Much love." Quest is killing it out there. Hey, Quest got 11,000 followers. He don't even got a podcast, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, for real.
We'll have to get Quest on the show sometime. That'd be fun. He's a big supporter of the show. I love that guy to death. But okay, so you're from New York, right?
Yeah.
Well, you used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
We've recently left New York and moved to somewhere in Texas. I don't know.
2 weeks ago, Austin, Texas. Don't judge me, people.
Oh, it's the same thing as New York.
No. Yeah. Okay. I can't with that take. I cannot with that take.
It's the same thing as New York, but you can have guns, I think.
Yeah, which is totally great. That's kind of what I wanted.
Sure.
I mean, you know what it is? I feel like I really go by the vibe of a place, and if I don't vibe, I can't be there. And this wasn't the first place that I checked out. I did check out Florida, the other place everybody's going, and I don't know, I just didn't feel right to me. So I don't just go to places because of politics. Obviously, these mandates kind of change things around. Like, that is why I left, don't get me wrong. But you still need to feel like, hey, I can live here. This can be my home for the next X amount of years or whatnot. So I think people forget that. And I don't know, I just really don't understand the comparison. Either you haven't been to Austin or you haven't been to New York, because it's just not the fucking
I've been to both. I have been to both.
It's just
Austin is actually
it's New York City, right?
Yeah, New York City. Austin is actually quite a bit like California, surprisingly to me. I feel like it's it's kind of almost like the Bay Area in Texas. It's more so than New York, obviously. New York's a whole different animal and beast, and I'm surprised you didn't go to Florida. I'm going to tell you that, because
I'm surprised too.
All good New York Jews go to Florida. That's that's how it works.
Florida's just full of New Yorkers. That's basically it. But don't forget, I'm Israeli, so I'm not really a New York Jew. I don't even know how to do that accent Wow.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't have that in me.
Oh man. Are you? I mean, are you Jew? Do you go to a temple and all that stuff?
No,
Okay.
I've never been to temple.
Okay, I was wondering. I knew you were Israeli background. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you just you think, well, Israeli, probably Jew. You know, my dad's side of the family's got some and some that aren't. And I've been to temple a few times, but I'm not a practicing Jew at all. So
I belly danced at a temple. That was like my temple experience.
at temple. Wow.
So where it was like a party.
Wow, wild.
know.
Hopefully it wasn't bar mitzvah. You know, could have been. It could have been. You never know.
That was though too. It's weird.
So what was it? I mean, obviously this COVID tyranny is why you left. First of all, shout out Forrest Mommy for the $20 super chat. She said, "Love the girl power shows this week. Have fun at Disney." Yeah, 3 in a row. 3 women in a row on Break the Cycle. Anybody ever calls me a misogynist again, I'm gonna smack you. Okay.
Oh my God, why?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just saying. So.
No, not you, them.
Oh, everybody calls me everything. They call me misogynist and racist and anti-Semitic and God.
Dude, I got to, if you want to call it Liberty Twitter, through Legion of Skanks. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was my pipeline. I watched Legion of Skanks, and then I'm a subscriber to Gas Digital. So then I just watched Part of the Problem and You're Welcome, and now I'm here.
Yeah. I guess Gas Digital doesn't have me on their network. That's okay. I'll survive. I'll be okay. No, I'm on the Liberty Network out of New Hampshire, which is way cooler. But
yeah, I mean they lost Michael Malice, so
yeah. Malice won't even talk to me. But you know what? When I was doing this like raise money for Disney thing, some people were talking shit about me, and Malice retweeted it and shared my link and was like, "Hate fun this guy." So I was like, "All right, I'll just leave you alone, Malice. But one of these days you're gonna come on my show. One of these days."
That's so cool, though.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, he really. I mean, our trip to Disney, he funded like half of it just by doing that. So.
What?
Yeah, it was really
That's
cool.
Stupid. How did I miss that?
It was really, really cool of him. I put it out like several months ago when I was talking about the trauma that the kids have been through and how, we weren't going to be able to take them on some big, huge vacation, but I wanted to, take them somewhere that was going to give them an experience that made them understand there were some good things in life and they weren't always victims. And people really just came forward, stepped up and helped us out. And
that's so cool.
Really now we're leaving on Monday morning we're leaving the house at 3:30 a.m. I'm kind of mortified with 7 kids.
Yo, I did, without the 7 kids, but I did that way too many times in the last couple of months. I don't know why I just keep booking those flights, but
yeah, well, they're the best. I always do that or red eye flights myself personally. I always have, always. I enjoy red eyes because I can sleep. It's like the one time when everybody just turns their lights off and you're just like, all right. During the day, it's like there's no sleeping on a plane during the day.
Yeah, that's so true. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about your move what was it specifically about New York? I mean, how, as somebody who doesn't live there, explain it to me like I'm 5. What was it like, having to deal with this stuff in New York City?
So for me personally, like just on a daily basis, one thing that I saw every single day that just drove me absolutely crazy, there was a pre-K, some sort of pre-K daycare, legitimately outside my window. And every day I would watch these tiny, tiny kids mask up and this cartoonish evil looking lady just take their temperature with that, the gun thermometer. And the parents would even take their masks off and just kind of throw the kids into, the daycare. So that was my daily view. It just makes you so sick to see that. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't deal just viewing this child abuse. And then, we had a 10 p.m. curfew for a while. This was last year.
Yes, because COVID can only get you after 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously just so you see the build up, right? And the thing is people basically obeyed. That was the thing that grossed me out the most. I always thought that at least in New York City, there would be some sort of rebellion or badassery. I don't know if I made that shit up in my head.
Yeah.
But
maybe in the 80s.
Right. It's I don't know. Isn't that what you imagine? You're like, New Yorkers are not going to take that shit.
Yeah.
No. I mean, restaurants close. Dude, you guys are going to just shut down. They're okay. And this was my favorite part. The outside inside venues that they built outside the restaurants, they were basically like huts, and they're like petri dishes for like just breeding shit inside. They were like the most unsanitary thing ever. So this was all the restaurants that spent thousands and thousands of dollars to build these stupid, completely anti-science like buildings outside of their venue already. So everything the city's saying, they're just following. And then, once they started like whispering about like vax passports, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like maybe further down the line. And then what happened was they were like, okay, I think it was September. Yeah, September. I'm sorry. Yeah, they said they were going to roll out the policy, and then, or maybe August. I don't freaking remember. My days are all messed up. So it was like quick, and I was like, oh shit! Like they're not messing around. Here's the thing: my lease was going to be up, and I actually signed to renew it for another year. Because I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the next year. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to travel to different states. I'm going to feel it out, see what I like, so I can kind of like do it calmly. Because it's very, it's so stressful to move.
Right.
And then they just rolled out that thing. They rolled out the vax passport, and to be honest, it's almost like, how sometimes you're like, they can't shock you, but somehow they still do.
Right.
So it's not that I was shocked that they rolled it out. I was shocked at how quickly they rolled it out. It's funny how efficient they can be when they want to be, right?
Well, I feel like that shit was already sitting on someone's desk months and months and months ago. You know what I mean?
Most likely, yes.
I'm sure that's what it was. The whole program was you're having camera problems like me now.
It's back. No, it's the stupid 30-minute thing.
Oh yeah. You gotta you know that Canon makes a webcam utility app now that doesn't do that anymore.
I know. I'm on it, but it still does it for like a second.
That's weird. I wonder why. Mine doesn't do it. Mine just shuts all the way down. It's not after 30 minutes. It just like I have a dummy battery so I can live stream. And I think
me too.
And I think it's the dummy battery doing it. I think it's a bad dummy battery. So it might be your issue.
Okay.
Yeah, because the EOS webcam utility app is supposed to keep your camera in a state of run, so that it doesn't shut off. So it shouldn't be the app doing that. It should be.
Because I didn't just fix it. It fixed it on its own, but it's still doing it for like a second.
Yeah, if it was the shutdown, like the 30-minute shutdown, it wouldn't fix it on its own. You'd have to get up and turn it off and on again. So
I don't know.
Yeah, might be another problem. I don't know. I roll Canon too. I'm probably going to upgrade. I'm probably going to have to upgrade, or I'm going to upgrade to Sony eventually, like the A60-100, I think. But for now, the Canon is great. It's a good camera.
Yeah, can't complain.
But Sony's got better lenses too. I realized that. I figured that out. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll get back into that. So you got this great show, Can Relate. I think how many episodes you got now? Like 6, 7?
Like 10, I think.
Is it 10? Shit, I must be missing a few. It's my bad.
They're really spaced out because honestly, I started with this brilliant idea like as I was like packing shit up. So, or like right before. So anyway, so my lease was going to renew, and then they rolled out the stupid thing, and I was like, I emailed the management and I said, I don't feel comfortable. And by the way, I never do shit like this, but I kind of wanted to make them feel guilty. I was like, I don't feel comfortable showing my papers,
right?
In a city like after like my grandparents like survived the Holocaust, and here I am like showing papers. Like that's not happening.
Right.
Obviously, I wrote it in a much more like professional way. And that was it. And we went and we visited. Me and my boyfriend, we visited Austin because that was like that was the first on the list. By the way, there were a few other things on the list. And we had like a 4-day trip where we basically just went across everything and just went like apartment hunting and everything. And we did everything in like those 4 days. And signed. Wow. And it's just been crazy. So I'm here. This is my second week here now.
Nice. So well, tell me about the show. What did you start the show for?
Yeah.
What's the show about? What's the meaning of it? All that great stuff.
Yeah. So the show is basically inspired by my Instagram DMs, which are basically little therapy sessions for people that like can't speak because their job or their family or their friends or whatever, they're going to be judged, they're going to be canceled, they're going to be whatever. And I don't know why people feel very comfortable talking to me And I'm very grateful for that. I love that. I love talking to people. And I don't know why people just have this like trust with me.
Sure.
It's always been like that. Ever since like I've had a business, always people just are very.
Do you think maybe it's because you're a good person and you're kind of friendly? You know? I'm just saying.
Maybe, but I'm like so grateful because it's like another level of trust. Like, wow, you're like spilling everything to me, and I never have to say like, oh, don't worry, I won't say anything. It's like they know, and I'm always super grateful for that. So my DMs are like your therapy sessions, especially on Instagram, and I just felt like there's all these people that feel like they're going crazy because they can't speak and they have nobody, to vent to because they're going to be judged or fired or whatever. And they're coming to my DMs, and here I am in this like privileged position, okay, because I don't have a boss, I can't get fired, and I'm just going to shut up. Why? Because I'm scared.
Right.
That was my excuse. I really like had a conversation with myself. I was like, that's your fucking excuse because you're scared? What the hell? That's like the lamest shit ever. And it really made me feel like crap because I know I have the equipment to do this. I've had a business, and so I have like lighting and camera and a microphone that's not here. I'm sorry. And all this shit, and I have the skills. So it's not even like I needed to like learn to edit, and I have the skill to talk to people, and I have the skill to communicate, and I'm not the dumbest person in the world. And so at least I can put out this message that people are, crying in my DMs, and at least I can be like this voice for people, not to sound like I'm a fucking savior or anything, but it kind of made me feel like every time I was trying to avoid doing this show, so I don't become political, and so I don't get canceled or whatever the fuck, I don't lose friends, which by the way, I did lose friends. Every time I was like avoiding the issue, it was like coming back to me, and not to be like really like juju about it, but I'm very much like, I go with like my intuition and whatever. And whenever you try to like escape something, it just keeps coming back to you. You're like, okay, I need to like man up and do this. And so basically the show is just talking current events, talking culture. I would like to get a more consistent, now that I'm settled in, not just yet, once I get furniture. I like to get it on a more consistent basis, but obviously politics, current events, just things that, might not be very popular to talk about. Just like shooting the shit, and maybe even like some sort of like business advice, self-development. I've always, even though my brand was like fitness, I was always big on like empowering. Well, my clients were mostly women, so it was like empowering women. But my message never changed.
Right.
That's the funny part. Like my message never changed. I'm still saying the same thing. I still want people. I'm still all about the individual. I've always been about the individual. I want you to be your best, do your best. I'm never gonna hate on you as long as you don't hurt anybody. And it's like my messaging never changed. It's like the world around me changed. And I feel like I need to keep putting that message out there like more and more so people feel like they can relate to something.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, so when I first found you, I think the first episode I watched was they want you to be mediocre. And it was really for me, a guy who watches tons of podcasts and listens to shows and hears everybody say everything. It was informative to me. It was like a good, it was like good. You were talking about your cosmetic stuff, and you really got into it. Can you explain that a little bit more? What you mean by they want you to be mediocre? That was a good.
Oh yeah, sure.
I liked it a lot.
Oh, thanks. By the way, so when I closed my business, it was a fitness business for like over a decade. Nobody really warns you that you're going to go into like a deep depression because your world is going to like completely change. So whatever. I'm super, super creative in like, a bunch of ways. And I just kind of did makeup like for fun. And I was thinking of going into the cosmetics world, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? And I was like, maybe I'll start another business. So I was just trying to like figure out what to do next. And I was going to start a cosmetics business. But I mean, the cosmetics world, I think like red pilled me even more because it is so like infiltrated with like SJW shit. It's horrible. Oh, it is awful. I mean, there's like no standards in there. I mean, it was terrible. Like they don't actually look at, and it's not just the cosmetics world, but it's definitely like, it's like the arts. The arts get really infiltrated because it's full of like a lot of emotional people, I think. But what happens is instead of like judging you based on your art, they just kind of pick people based on, you know how it is. Like they get a check in like these like diversity boxes. And it's like they want you to be in this like they want you to think like, oh, I'm this, right? They don't want you to think of yourself as like more, like you are so much like deeper than that, and it sucks because especially like teenagers and stuff, like you just see like them falling for all this crap. Like they think that they've like accomplished something by being and by the way, when I say this, I'm not saying like you should not be like proud of like your heritage or whatever. Like that's cool, that's fun. But it's like, it's not that's not who you are like as a whole. Like what else are you? It's like they want to like boil you down to like these just like tiny little things that are like all in all like not that meaningful,
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And so, so what happened with your business? I mean, was it just one of those things? It was time to hang it up and do something else?
Oh, well, I was getting burnt out for sure. I really wanted to get it to be like fully online and not just like in person because it really drains you. Even though I was like certifying other instructors to do it, it was getting really exhausting. And basically I hit like an end in the road because you can't get a music license for what I wanted to do. It was super crazy. Like, I don't know if anybody out there knows this. It totally sucks. Like you actually can't get like a license to, let's say like dance or like dance and use music on video. It counts as like a movie license and a sync license and there's like one more. So basically you would pay like per song and you would pay like almost like a movie pays for it, it's wild. Basically they don't want you to do it. It's the story. The music industry is like
rough,
demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, rough. No, I hate the music industry. That was actually my major in college. I've done a bajillion things. I'm sorry.
I have to. I'm one of those people. I had a very curious mind, so I did a lot of things, including playing music and trying touring and stuff like that. And
no way. Wait, please tell.
Oh,
what did you play?
I sang in metal bands, and then
hell yeah.
I also played bass for a short time and drums. I've been playing drums since I was like 12 years old. So.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, fun times.
I was a business major, but I was like a concentration in music industry, and I was a voice major. So that's fine. Okay, we should do like a little like freedom loving band.
It's funny. I was talking to another buddy of mine that lives in New York about that too. He's a punk rock guy. I played punk rock and metal and stuff, but yeah, I've done everything. I was in the military. I've worked in all kinds of different industries, and I managed fine dining restaurants. I've worked in the trades. I've done everything, man. Everything you can think of.
You're like me. You're like you sound like a lunatic. You're like there's probably like 20 more things that I can list. It's like good luck like looking at my resume. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like when you have a curious mind, or you're really trying to look for something. When you're trying to look for something that you appreciate, that you love to do, that's something that you want to do for the rest of your life. I mean, don't just stick around and do one thing. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Do everything you can. And now I found an industry that I like to work in. I'm happy there. I stay there forever. It pays really well. It takes care of my family. It's got a great schedule. It's got a great schedule. I work 7 of every 14 days. You know what I mean? It's great.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
I love it. They're 12s, and I'm away from the house all day, but that's what Mama stays home for. So
I love her.
Yeah, Julie's amazing. I got to do a show with Julia at some point. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh my God, that would be. Should she get into politics or not really?
She does. She really hates politics. So it's funny because Julia, she was like one of the founders of a program here, or a organization here called Informed Choice Iowa. That's like they push for medical freedom. And so she's a really big advocate of medical freedom, and she's pretty anti-vax in most aspects, actually, not just this new COVID one. She was that before COVID came around, which I'm fine with too. I don't think a lot of this stuff that we're still vaccinating for today. It's like
I'm a total hippie. It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, there's some things like I'm people call me anti. What's the point anyways? Because people call me anti-vax, and I've had every single vax I've ever been scheduled to have except for the COVID.
Yeah,
same.
Same.
So if you're calling me an anti-vaxxer, you're an idiot. She's really big on like lobbying. She's done a lot of lobbying at the state capitol and for medical choice, and they were the organization that got I think a law passed to have the medical examiner put the last vaccine the last vaccine given to children who die from unexplainable reasons, like sudden infant death syndrome and stuff like that, because they used to not put the vaccine schedule on their autopsy reports or their death certificates. So Informed Choice Iowa pushed to get that done. So she does a lot of work, and she's worked a lot in the political sphere, but it's mostly been basically screaming and yelling at legislators to do their fucking job and to care about people. So, but she hates she's very libertarian, but she hates libertarians. She hates the Libertarian Party. She tells me every day.
I may or may not agree with that.
Yeah, she tells me every day. She's like, shouldn't you just leave? Can't you just leave the party? I mean, what's the point? And I'm like, well, I've set out on this mission, and I've done a lot of stuff with them, and I'm not ready to go. She's like, it's annoying. I mean, like, these people are, and she's talking about the losertarians, not the good ones.
I know. No, of course. I think we all.
Yeah. So she's political to a point, but she's more spiritual than anything. She's definitely a very spiritual lady.
I feel that. That's why I like her. See?
Yeah, she's like crunchy organic hippie mom. That's what I tell everybody. And awesome. She healed my COVID with tree bark and shit. So.
Hell yeah! Oh my god.
She's pretty amazing. Let's
I love that.
Let's address some of these super chats. Quest Fanning, he threw another $5 super chat. He said, half the folks I always did volunteer work with quit to resist. That's what made me want to hear the opposition. Open-minded sometimes means big change. Correct. Kennedy Edwards, thanks for the $2 super chat. She just threw the hearts in the chat for her homegirl Yael. I know she's a fan. I'm a big fan of Kennedy too. I don't know if she knows that, but we follow each other on Twitter and she comments on my stuff. I comment on her stuff, but she's dope. She's really cool, and she's part of the Mises Caucus too. She's been chilling with the Mecox, so we appreciate you. Quest Fanning dropped another $2 super chat and asked what your Twitter handle is, but it's literally scrolling across the bottom of the screen most of this show, Quest. Right, look, there it goes right there. Follow Yael on Twitter at Yael_Becker.
Yeah,
there
the
you go,
underscore.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I couldn't really get the full name for. So
Nate, thanks for the $5 super chat, or he threw a $5 super sticker. I think that might be one of my first super stickers, man. I never get super stickers. I appreciate it, dude. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a running hippopotamus or something. It's pretty cool. Shannon Lee dropped a $5 super chat. She says, girls are taking over. What's the one thing that surprised you the most living in Texas? What do you miss about New York? P.S. Florida rules.
Oh, okay. What surprised me about living in Texas? I feel like a fraud if I say something because I don't know shit. This is seriously my second week. I don't know if I'm surprised, but people have been extremely nice. And let me tell you, even though I'm in Austin and it's liberal and people wear masks, they are not terrified of you like in New York. Like in New York, the people look like if you come close to them, you are like a walking pathogen. Like that's how they view you for the most part. Like they look, there's fear in their eyes. Like if you're the kind of person that can see, like you can read faces and stuff like that and just body language, like, I mean, New Yorkers, like New York City at least, like they're fucked in the head for the most part. Like
right.
They've been traumatized. What do I miss about New York? Right now, because it's only been 2 weeks, the answer is nothing. Because I'm dead ass because you know what's funny? I thought I was gonna miss the food. Let me tell you something. Holy shit! Wow. I mean, I have not had a bad meal yet.
Yeah.
Which is slightly a problem because I got to keep it together.
Austin is a big foodie city for Texas. You know what I mean? And Texas has really good food, but it's like Southern food, right? It's like barbecue. I'm not going to say they have good barbecue. Everyone who follows me knows I'm not a fan of Texas barbecue. I really dislike their ribs. It's horrible to me. Please give me Kansas City or North Carolina or get the fuck out of my face. But I do like Texas brisket. They make a good brisket. They make they do have good barbecue in some aspects. But they're not a rib state in my opinion. And I know I piss all my Texas followers off by saying that. And they have really good Tex-Mex food. It's not real Mexican food, but for Tex-Mex, it's good. I'd say they probably, next to Colorado, they probably have the best Tex-Mex, which is funny to say because it's Texas, but Colorado's got really good Tex-Mex. But Austin itself is kind, like I said, it's kind of like California. They got really good restaurants. If you get an opportunity, I don't know what the bar and club scene is like during COVID right now, but 6th Street in Austin is fantastic. Like one of the most fun times I've ever had. It's literally almost like Bourbon Street, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I visited. I didn't really go out yet. Like I said, I'm only here 2 weeks. But like when I visited during the like Labor Day weekend or whatever, we went and hung out there. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's fully open. People are out and it's completely normal. Yeah,
that's how it is here in Iowa too. It's so weird because I hear my friends from California like, oh man, we can't even go to a bar. We can't do this. And I'm like, shit, we've been doing that the whole time I've been in Iowa, dude. The whole time. Like I think they shut down the bars. They put like a city curfew in downtown Des Moines briefly for like a month, and they were shutting the bars at like 10, the restaurants and bars, and then they just stopped, and then they just started up normal, and everything was normal. And it was like there was a month where everyone was wearing masks at the grocery store, and we were the only family not wearing masks, and now there's only one family in the grocery store wearing masks. Like nobody gives a shit anymore. Great. And we're the first state that actually declared COVID endemic and said it's not going away. It's not a pandemic. It's part of life now. And that's the first state in the country to do it is Iowa.
Wow. Yeah. That's badass.
So we are the beacon of medical freedom so far.
That is so cool. But see, I can't do the cold weather.
Oh, it's bad.
Another reason why I escaped.
Yeah,
I'm back in like my element right now. I'm back like in the desert.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. Led you right back to the desert. My guest earlier that will be a show that'll come out next week. Kentucky Rebel Scum. He's from Kentucky, and he was talking about. He's like, yeah, if you can stand the weather, it's cool to get the hell out of the east and west and stuff. And then Clint, we were talking about that too, and he's like, yeah, they were trying to get me to move to New Hampshire, but it's just it's kind of like Iowa. It's cold. I said, oh no. New Hampshire is not. New Hampshire is not. They might get snow and they might get cold, but it is not cold like Iowa, buddy. Like it's freezing ass cold here. Like your nose hairs freeze in your nose as soon as you walk outside, freezing. Like boil a pot of water and go outside and throw it in the air and it turns into steam freezing. Like it is cold shit. It's cold shit.
How are you dealing? You came from California, right?
I know. I braved the winter. It was rough. It was it hurt. Physically hurt. It physically hurt me.
I'm physically in pain in New York, so I can't imagine. Like how long did I live in New York? For like 20 something years. Because I was in Israel, for like 12 years of my childhood.
Oh, sure.
I never got used to the winter. Like I never. And it's interesting because I also have a friend. She came from Brazil, moved to Orlando, and moved to New York. She never got used to the weather for like years.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get used to it either. And we get cold in the Bay Area where I'm from. It gets cold. It gets in the 30s and shit, But here it gets like -30. We're talking about we're talking about like the coldest it ever got where I'm from, minus 60 more degrees.
I can't even fathom that.
It was brutal. And they have these huge temperature swings, right? Like we went one day, from, it was, I think it was -9 to 64 degrees in like one 24-hour span. And I'm like, how does that even work? How do you go 70 degrees in one day? It was brutal.
Wild.
It was brutal. I love California. It's, that's my state. That's my home state. It's one of the most beautiful states. Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful states in the country. They have everything. They got the Sierra Nevadas. They got the oceans. They got big, beautiful cities. They got the desert. They're the only place in the world that has the redwood forest. They've got Mount Shasta and Big Bear Mountain, and it's just amazing, amazing place. Plus, all this farmland in Central California. I mean, it's a really cool place. Like they have everything, but the people there suck. The politicians there suck. The taxes there suck. Everything's expensive. I moved to Iowa. It's 1/5 of what it costs to live where I'm from. I was renting a bedroom for $1,200 a month there. Here I have a 4-bedroom house, 2,500 square foot, quarter of an acre lot, for $500 more a month than I was paying to rent a bedroom where I'm from. That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Insane.
It's very sad.
You can't buy a house there for under like $600,000 anymore. The smallest,
New York
shittiest
is the
house.
same way.
Yeah, it's crazy. It hurts.
New York is exactly the same way. Like, I understand that Austin is relatively expensive compared to like, other parts of Texas, but it's like, it's the same way that people are like, oh, like Austin is liberal. It's like, hello, I escaped communism. Nice to meet you.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like when people are like, oh, it's expensive here. And I'm like, once again, I came from New York City. So It is all fucking relative.
Yeah.
But you have to decide what you want. Like I said to you, first of all, I like the vibe. I had a good vibe. I mean, I didn't buy a property. I'm not like committed to, staying here for years and years and years and years. I like it a lot. People have been super nice. For the most part, you know what it is? I don't mind as much if people wear masks. I more just look at them thinking that they're stupid or brainwashed. Sorry. But as long as they're not like afraid of me or like trying to push it on me, I'm kind of like, whatever. Like You'll figure it out, man. Like you'll take it off eventually, hopefully.
That's how I feel about it too. Like, yo, dude, if you want to wear masks, cool. Do not push the legislators to make me wear a mask. Fuck you. If you do, you're at war with me. You're starting a war with me. You are now infringing on all of my personal rights, all of them. My bodily autonomy, my livelihood, all of it. You're infringing on all of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like over here, so like some people wear masks, some people don't. And like they stand next to each other, they talk to each other. So there's not like this fear. That's really what was, like broke my heart about New York is like that fear. Like when I would go outside, people would be walking their dogs. I mean, and I'm talking with like tons of space around them. People walking their dogs, masked, just like an empty space. Just like completely, and if you come like anywhere close, they would like just distance themselves. And like it's one thing if you did that, at like the peak of like us not knowing what the hell is going on. I understand New York got hit like very hard, and it was like, oh, like the fear was like crazy, and it's true. Like we didn't know what was going on.
It got hit hard because your fucking shitty governor threw all the COVID plus cases into the nursing homes.
And by the way, speaking of that, what drove me crazy is everyone like tweeting about his like sexual assault like cases. Yeah. I was like, can you stop tweeting about that? They like want you to tweet about that because now nobody talks about the fact that he like killed all the old people.
He committed senocide. He killed 17,000 seniors. 17,000.
It's insane. Yeah. Insane. Yeah, that was wild. But like, okay, so I understand why it was a shit situation for New York, let me tell you, because you're living on top of people, you live in these tiny shoebox apartments, you don't open your door without putting on the mask. Like, the fear was fucking real, okay? But okay, after a few weeks, most of us realized what the fuck was going on. Well, not most of us, but most of us in the world, but not in New York. And there's people that are still like living in fear over there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sucks. It's really sad to see. And like I said, I've said it on the show several times, it's going to take a minimum of one generation to try and wash out some of the mental aspects of all of this for people. Because there are people that are just terrified. There's people who think their entire life's purpose now is to take the livelihoods of people who don't want to get a vaccine. You know what I mean? It's really fucked people's like psyche up to a really bad degree.
Some people are really fucked up. Like you said, it screwed with them. They're living in fear. And then there's the other side of people that they're just losers. They've always been losers. They've never had a purpose in their life. And now all of a sudden they have like a meaning. And their meaning is to make your fucking life miserable. Right. Like that's really what happened.
And they feel virtuous over it.
Exactly. That's what makes me the most crazy. They have a purpose now and they want to like hold on to it for the first time in their lives. They're like this like powerful, important person because they never, think about it. Anybody that's ever been like successful, you don't have to be like a big shot, right? You don't have to be like Elon Musk or whatever. You can just be like, a small business owner. Like you feel like pride in what you do, or just having like a person that has like responsibility or like a family. You take pride in what you do. You've accomplished certain things. You're satisfied. You're happy with yourself. You don't have the need to do something like that. Only people who are unsuccessful losers that have nothing to show for themselves. I'm sorry. Those are the only kinds of people that are like holding on to this kind of power.
Unsuccessful
love it.
people talk about other people. That's what they do. That's all they can do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. It's like the Joe Rogan thing, right?
Yeah.
They love that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They wanted to demonize. It's funny, with the Joe Rogan thing, it's always hilarious to me because the leftists will go out, like these big leftists, big name blue check mark leftists, will go out and talk shit about Joe Rogan and then wonder why he's not having him on the biggest podcast in the world. You know what I mean? Like, hey, assholes, it doesn't matter. You can't cancel Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could if you couldn't cancel Alex. Well, if you couldn't cancel Alex Jones or some of these other people who are wild and crazy that you hate, you're definitely not going to cancel the biggest podcast in the world. He will literally build his own platform.
Well, also notice how it really matters how you react or don't react to the cancellation. People like Joe Rogan, like whenever he's like trending and shit, he doesn't say anything.
Oh no, he doesn't react.
No.
He doesn't even respond to him on Twitter at all.
Yeah, he's like, you don't even exist. You're like, you're not important. Goodbye. That's what you got to do. And I noticed that with like many scandals throughout like my YouTube and internet, like even before the podcast. That's like really successful people. That's what they do. They just completely ignore that shit because they know that it goes away.
Right.
Within 24 hours, it's gone. They're on to the next thing.
And
so if you don't give in.
Yeah. That's what my fiance always tells me to do. She's like, you got to stop. You got to stop. Don't respond to it. Don't even look at them. Don't act like they don't exist. And it's so hard for me. She's like, but it's, she's right. She tells me, she's like, you're creating a negative space in your own brain. That's what you're doing when you're responding to it because that's what they want. They know they're lying. They know they're making shit up. They know they're wrong about what they're saying. They're saying it because they know that it has a negative effect on your brain because you respond to it. So stop responding to it. And it's something I've been working on it for like 4 years, ever since I came into, the public spotlight.
Yo, it's super duper hard. Like I said, I've had stuff before, like I used to post dance videos, like that's rough. But the thing is, it never gets very easy, but it helps. Like I try to come from a place of like compassion. I know that sounds so annoying, but I try to think like, dude, I feel bad for you. Like if I really think about it, like, really? See, I didn't do anything.
That's weird. That's very strange.
We like have a moment.
Yeah. It's been, and I'll tell you, it couldn't be a 30-minute thing because we've been going for 48 minutes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's happened twice. So
way too expensive to do that. But anyway, I know it sounds like a little juju or whatever, but I really try to come from a place of like just trying to think, okay, how broken of a person do you have to be in order to like have this much hate in your heart and then like just put it on the internet? And I don't know, it's like you must be such a sad person. So I always try to like think about it that way because the immediate reaction is like you're like angry and you're like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, what do you want? Like, you're insane.
Right. I noticed that we didn't get any. I noticed that we didn't get any super chats from that guy on your Twitter feed when you posted the show. Unfortunate. I thought we were gonna get some.
No.
I really thought he was. I really thought he was gonna hop on and drop some super chats, pay to get some questions in. I was like, we can talk about it.
So weird.
Well, and he said
so freaking weird.
Well, it was funny because he said he held, you hold ideas that he think are gravely wrong, and in fact, some of your ideas are so wrong that they can be dangerous to the public. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just like her, but probably further. So if you come on the show, it's gonna be rough, buddy.
It's like I'm spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a public figure, which thank you.
Yeah, that was good. That was kind of cool. I had to give it to him. I was like, yeah, there you go, buddy. Because I'm telling you, I think when I started following you, you had like 12 to 30 followers or something, right? It was like very small.
Yeah, because I just restarted my Twitter.
Yeah.
And I found you from part of the problem.
Oh, that's right. I was on part of the problem. I was.
Yes, and right away I was like, oh, he's awesome, and I followed you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been on Dave's show twice. I've been on Tom Woods 4 times.
Damn.
3 or 4 times now. I've had Tom and Dave on this show too a bunch. They're great.
Yes, of course.
It's they're 2 of my favorite people, man. I really love those guys, and I love Robbie. Robbie the Fire is just amazing.
I like Robbie too.
Robbie came on my show for an episode, and in the first 10 minutes, he was like literally making fun of my mom. And my mom is always in the live chat. And my mom's always in the live chat. Usually she started doing something in the evenings that she can't come into the live chats too much anymore. But for like my first 60 or 70 shows, my mom was in the live chat like every single night.
Oh,
and
it's so cute.
So she was in the live chat while Robbie was talking shit about my mom. I was like, oh boy, you're definitely never getting any jams. You're never getting any jam sent to you, buddy. No one's sending you any jam. So
okay, I gotta go watch that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Robbie's cool. Robbie's been on twice. He was on my 100th episode too, but he had to come on late. That episode I had Dave and Mosh Teray and Robbie the Fire and Phil from All That Remains and a bunch. It was a really cool show. Adam Nutter and Top Lobster, of course, who's my homie. But we're getting to the end of the public stream. Yael, what do you got coming up next? What videos you got in the works? Where can people find you? How can they support you? All that great stuff.
Cool. All right. So you can follow me on Instagram and YouTube, just Yael Becker, and on Twitter it's Yael_Becker. You can always go to yaelbecker.com for all my links. My podcast is called Can Relate. You can always search for Can Relate Yael Becker. I am everywhere that you can find podcasts, so Spotify, Apple, whatever you want. And yeah, basically, once I get a couch, or maybe before, I'll start my episodes. And they're usually weekly, but I would like to step it up. So I'm thinking of doing guests and other things. I have a lot of things planned. And yeah, so please follow me everywhere.
Good luck. Good luck with doing more than one show a week, man. It's rough. It is rough. I do 5 shows a week, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
If it makes you feel a little bit better though, like this is a blast in terms of like setup, because like filming dance videos is like something I don't wish on anyone in terms of like lighting and shit. So this is like fun for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I have fun doing this too. Don't get me wrong. I do.
No,
there's some nights where I'm like, man, I really, I always have great guests on and I'm always excited about the guests, but sometimes I'm like, man, I just want to eat dinner and sit down with my family and watch TV and shit,
Of course. I fucking texted you. You're like, I'm eating dinner.
Yeah. I made steak fajitas for the family right before the show tonight. I recorded a show at 4:30, went upstairs, cooked dinner at 5:30, sat down, ate, and came back down here at 7 to get the podcast set up with you. So
dude, but honestly, this is why you're successful, and you're going to be even more successful, because like that's how you're consistent. You work your ass off. That's what it takes. So.
Well, I appreciate that, Yael. I'm a big fan of yours. You know that. Absolutely, 100%. I think everybody should definitely go follow you and check out your show. It's a great show. I wish you nothing but the best and success. Thank you so much for coming on. And if you could give me like 2 minutes to close out the stream, we'll start the members only stream.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, guys. Another awesome episode of Break Cycle. Yael is amazing. I don't think I say her name correctly, unfortunately. I'm probably butchering it every time. But you should definitely go follow her podcast and follow her on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. Give her the platform she deserves. Her content's really good. And her production value is amazing, which you don't get a lot of in this sphere. It was one of the reasons why I was like, so adamant about making my picture at least look good and having a good background, because it's an important aspect. If you want people to take you seriously, you got to make the show look good. Otherwise, they're just not even going to listen to the content. It's an unfortunate thing, but aesthetic means a lot to people. So go check her out, support her, give her the support she deserves. Guys, coming up next week on the show, I don't know what the order is going to be yet, but I do have some great shows. I've recorded 2. I will record 4 more on Sunday before we leave, so those will all be up and ready to premiere on their respective days. But I got Sky Daddy's coming on. Citizen Hush from Twitter is coming on. He's awesome. He calls himself the Bob Ross of gun Twitter, so I'm very excited to have him on. I know that I have done an episode with Clint from Liberty Lockdown. That'll be released. An episode with Kentucky Rebel Scum from Kentucky. If you don't follow him on Twitter, go check him out. He's amazing. One with Drew Hancock. That's going to be cool. We have Drew was like one of my first 10 or 15 episodes, and we had a lot of fun. So I'm excited to have Drew back on the show and talk about what he's up to. So it's going to be a good week. I just will unfortunately not be doing them live, but please go to the live chats when they premiere at the same time, 7:30 as per the usual, so that I can hang out with you guys in the chat from Florida. Also, on the 16th, I am going to make my way over to Tom Wood's 2000th episode celebration at the Rosen Shingles Creek Resort in Orlando. Since I'm going to be there anyways at Disney World, I figured I might as well hop in an Uber and come see all my friends. Top Lobster will be there. Clint from Liberty Lockdown will be there. I mean, there is going to be a lot of people. Michael Malice, Obviously Tom Woods. I'm sure Scott Horton might show up, or other great people. And Michael Malice says he has a surprise guest that is going to stop all the talking in the room that will be there. So you never know who's going to end up there. But I'm telling you, man, there's so many cool people that are going to be there. You should probably make your way over if you're around the Florida area. It's worth it. I'm signing off of live shows until at least Tuesday the 19th. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 days from now. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you hanging out day in and day out with me. I'll see you then. But until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Well, Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Good, nothing I mean, you know it. No product theaters cause it closed to COVID. Holy shit, I think I'm a poet.